You mentioned Toru a while ago.
Hmm.
I met Toru in 2015 in Chicago. Nintendo had the big 35th anniversary party up there, and I was invited to come up there. And they invited him to come over. He was there with a Japanese film crew and all that, and he couldn't. He had very few English words, but we were able to talk through interpreters and so forth. Very nice guy.
Hmm.
And the neat thing that happened was at one point we were standing there and people's kind of all around us, and we're kind of whatever trying to talk. And he leans over and in my ear, very softly, he starts singing. He goes, "I got Pac-Man Fever," saying it in my ear. And I thought that was so cool to have, that. And I had him sign a poster where he signed it and he drew a couple of the characters and wrote something in Japanese on there. And it's hanging on my wall, one of my favorite things, but that was a neat experience. And he actually, we did a little impromptu performance while we were there. They had a club called, I think it's still there, Level 257 in Chicago. And so we did a little thing and people were dancing. And he comes out of the dance floor and here he is dancing. And this guy's, he's in his 50s. He's out there dancing. And I thought that's pretty cool. I enjoyed that. Very nice guy.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a really cool story, and like honestly, like really cool that you're able to just have that experience with him in that sense, and also kind of showing too that music really is its own language, like where people just kind of like they just kind of know the music and they just kind of like sing the words even if it's not from their native tongue in that sense. So
maybe if all the leaders, the politicians in the world were musicians, they could get together in a band instead of fighting and having wars. Maybe they could.
You might be onto something there. You might be onto something.
So what if a fight? Who would be the lead singer?
Yeah,
exactly. Would be the same problem.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. They would be fighting over it.
Jerry, obviously, with you having made a song based on Pac-Man, I'm not sure if you have any like particular memories either from making the song or from actually playing the game that you wanted to share here.
Oh, I have a lot of memories. I would say probably appearing on American Bandstand was one of the highlights for Gary and I because we'd grown up watching that show, and for us to do the show, I mean, I can tell you, it was a funny story. We get there to ABC, and on that show, they did six back then. They did six shows, three on Saturday, three on Sunday, every 6 weeks, so that they didn't have to do them every day. So we're there, and Huey Lewis and the News is there, and we're in the dressing room with our manager, and Dick Clark walks in there, and we're just sitting there. It's like we can't believe we're in there with this guy. He's a legend.
Yeah.
And he walks over and sits down. We start talking. He's in a sweatshirt and jeans. And we're talking, and heard the F word here or there and go, whoa, come on, Dick.
Think of the moms out there. Come on.
I thought the suit was attached. I didn't realize you wore anything but a suit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was, it was like, wow. It was just in that famous voice, you're hearing it in person. It was so wild. So we're there and he says, okay, he said, look, we're going to, we'll do your first song and then I'll come up and we'll do a little interview thing. And, I'll ask you a couple of questions and and he threw out a question, just like a little example question. And we just stared at him. I mean, we were like, we just couldn't speak. And he goes, guys, it's TV. You gotta talk and everything and say things. And it was kind of embarrassing, but it was so funny. And so he leaves and said, I'll see you guys on set. So when we went down there, we're walking down, and I said to Gary, I said, look, I hope he gives you the first question, man.
Yeah.
He gave me the first question,
Mm-hmm.
And it was just, I was so nervous. I didn't remember, only time this ever happened to me, I couldn't remember doing the show. I mean, I knew I was there, but I couldn't remember what happened. I just knew that I said something that people laughed, and Dick Clark kind of turned around funny, and I thought, what stupid thing did I say? And what I said is, we mentioned Akron, Ohio, and he mentioned Akron because it was where the rock and roll began or whatever. And I said, oh, yeah. I said, Akron, Ohio. I said, Simon Perkins Junior High School. I have no idea why I mentioned the junior high school that we went to on national TV.
It's a shout out, yeah.
The funny part is after the show, the kids can come up and talk to you a little bit before you leave them all. And this kid comes up, he goes, I went to Simon Perkins. I said, you did? He says, yeah. I said, well, then that was to you,
There you go.
That was one memory, but it was so neat to meet him. He was so good to us and promoted our next song, promoted our album. He had on his radio show too and everything. And that was a pretty special moment. And maybe the other one would be while we were out there, we're driving around. They gave us a Lincoln rental to drive around. And we're on Rodeo Drive driving around, and one of the top stations in Los Angeles plays our song, and you look at each other and kind of laughed. And Gary said to me, because we're from Akron, he goes, "Yeah, not bad for a couple of yokels from Akron." We kind of laughed, but
got a tagline right there.
Stories, but the Dick Clark thing, that was pretty cool.